I am the Dragon Queen, and hello to you as I settle into the vessel. There are a lot of upgrades happening for her and for many people in this time. It is a very energetic time, and many human bodies are upgrading to prepare for the new year, for all the new energies that are coming to the earth and coming into their bodies.
Well, we can certainly feel that.
It is a threshold space. Many people are stepping over the threshold. Many lives are changing. It feels like a birth canal this time, between this year and the next. A lot is changing, a lot is birthing. And the human bodies, or many human bodies right now, are overwhelmed. They need sleep. They feel very stressed. There's a lot of high vibrational energy coming in, and it's only going to get more and more. But the human bodies have to be prepared to hold this high energy.
And aside from the upgrades that are coming through, how do you recommend people prepare for holding that energy?
Don't lose their mm, don't lose their heads over all of this overwhelm that is coming in. Don't run around like headless chicken, freaking out, feeling overwhelmed. Mm, step step into your sovereignty. Own the process, own the change, acknowledge that you are changing, and acknowledge that you are overwhelmed by the change and can only take it one step at a time. Be graceful with yourself, but also be aware that you are, every one of you, sovereign beings, and you create your own reality, and you are responsible for how you feel and when to say yes or no. Take this time to say no more often instead of yes, and to really mm, listen to yourself and what you actually want. And if something doesn't feel like an exciting yes, then maybe you should not do it for your community or your parents or your friends, just to keep them happy. This is a time where your human resources are short because they are needed for the upgrades, plural, that are coming in and preparing, especially your bodies, to hold the frequency and the opportunities and the energy that wants to come in next year.
Do you have any insights on these energies for next year?
a lot will change. Lives will be overturned and overturn on themselves. Humans are not physically capable to live unaligned lives anymore. And this, for many, will lead to a lot of anger and frustration as they have already sacrificed so much and are so far off of their aligned path. Mm, mm, and then the inner voice comes up, and the pressure builds and the energies build. And this will result in enormous waves of emotions to try to. It's like a magnet. Their soul is magnetically drawn to their purpose and their path and what they came here to do. When they are on a different path because they think they should do that, have to do that, or they don't feel like it is possible to live out their purpose, mm, the the force, the the force of the attraction back into their alignment is so strong that the further off they are, the more painful the attraction back to their aligned path is. And this will lead to enormous waves of emotion. And this first wave of emotion is going to be unpleasant. A lot of grief and anger and guilt, and feeling trapped, feeling that they have betrayed themselves. And it is important for those people mm, to take action, even if it is small actions, back toward their aligned path. And this might be saying no more often and making more time for the things that do excite them. And this can start with something small like painting or writing or crafting instead of seeing people they don't even like. Start by small steps, and from time to time, the steps themselves become easier to take to mm, back toward the mothership, really, of their life. It's like some people have strayed very far from the mothership, and next year, with all with all the high vibrational energy that is building, the mothership calls very loudly, and it is hard, very hard to stray from the path that you came here to walk.
So, for those people who are going to experience these emotions that you mentioned, like grief and anger, what's your best advice for them to work through that period of time?
It will feel very overwhelming. There are going to be a lot of emotions. Sit with your emotions. Emotions are there because they need to be felt, and feeling the uncomfortable emotions is a way of washing away the walls of resistance toward your mm, toward your highest alignment. When you wash away the walls, suddenly there are going to be ideas that bring you back onto your path. Sit with the emotions, even when they feel overwhelming. Just by feeling them, they will get better. And once the tide has washed away, it leaves room for ideas and impulses. And then it is important that you act on those impulses. Mm, do not get stuck in one of these steps. Do not get stuck in running away from your emotions, but also do not get stuck in sitting with the emotions. Mm, if clear signals come to you, "Ooh, I want to do this, I want to do that," follow those signals and don't just stay paralyzed sitting with your emotions. I know this is very hard, and especially when you have ignored your calling and your highest joy for so long. It is very hard to sit with those emotions of guilt and grief that you have already been on this path for so long. Don't get stuck in one phase. I
So
get this picture of sit with the emotions, to let the emotions wash away the hard walls of resistance and structure to your own being and your own desires. And the washing away of the walls will make it easier to act on your ideas.
for people who aren't sure what their purpose is and they're out of alignment and they're not happy, what's your advice for figuring out what that purpose is?
Take small, manageable steps towards your highest joy. Like, for example, when you are stuck in a traditional life of going to work, having a family, pleasing everybody around you. As I said, start by saying no more often to the things that make you frustrated, like maybe being a Sunday school teacher because your church doesn't have a Sunday school teacher, but inside you have come to hate it and it doesn't bring you joy anymore. Get rid of it. Say no. And instead, in that new free time, do something that you've always wanted to do and that excites you, like take a class in art or even in channeling if that is something that you're interested in. Mm, get rid of the stuff that you feel like you have to do for other people or your community, but that you actually hate, and use that free time to follow your passions. And when you follow your passions and maybe you go out into nature more or you take classes, you will meet people that are aligned with you. And as you do this step by step, you will see with every step you meet new people and they tell you about this or that, or you go away on a trip together, you experience things together, and so step by step you are getting out of mm, this hard structure that you have built. It's like when you have a river and you this is something that humans have done over years. When they have built cities, they have taken the natural course of a river away mm, and made the structure of the river rigid, and they have built dams and walls and diverted it from the natural structure, and now there are so many floods happening everywhere because the river is denied its natural course, mm, and so it floods, it overreacts, the emotions pour out of the river because it is denied its natural course. It is the same for humans. But when you one by one uh, allow the river its natural course again, you put away all those unnatural confinements one by one, and the river is allowed its natural course again. It quiets and the floods are stopping because it is allowed its natural course again. But you can put the river back in one step. There are gradual steps mm, to get rid of the walls and to get rid of the confinements that were built so the river flows in a certain way. And it's the same thing with humans. When you have spent years confining your natural flow, it will take time tearing those walls apart, allowing the natural course, finding out the natural course again. But the simplest or the first step can always be to say no to what you hate. That is step one. That is the first, smallest, simplest step. Say no to what you hate, and then figure out in that time that is freed up by saying no, follow your passion, try out new and different things. See what kind of people you attract in that free time, and make your way slowly, step by step. And a sign for having found your natural course again is that you will attract the right things easily when when life and when what you do feels easy, then you know you're on your path. Opportunities open up by themselves. You find applying to the right class or finding friends. It's easy when you are in your confinement. You feel like you have to struggle every day. Every day is a struggle. But when you flow naturally, you actually don't have to do anything. It just comes to you. The only thing you have to do is react, say yes or no to whatever comes your way. But there is a transition period between living the life of a confined river and living the life of a free-flowing river. It's not going to be from today to tomorrow that you're going to be the perfectly free-flowing river. When you have confined your river, and that is something that every human being on this planet has done to some extent, there is a transition period and a certain amount of time that has to be dedicated to breaking away the walls, getting rid of the walls, getting rid of the confinement, and letting the river, taking the time to heal from that and to find the natural course naturally.
That makes sense.
I hope this picture has helped in
Absolutely.
imagining what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think the river analogy is very helpful. So, what do you see happening in 2026? What do you see humanity going through during that time?
a lot of emotions will come up. Mm. There is a certain amount of truth that humanity cannot bypass anymore. Many people are awake on planet Earth. Mm. And right now it feels, from the view of this vessel, as a coat of many colors, or like a rug with many patches, and so many groups of people have their own truth, and people are very meddled, or in the depths of their own truth. They have a hard time. There is no universal truth for all of them. And what 2026 will bring is a lot more clarity and the rise of a universal truth that everybody, I don't want to say can believe in, but certain events will take place that will let people see more clearly how the universe works, and that humans are more powerful than they think, and that they can manipulate and work with energy, that they do not have to be afraid. Mm, I see the grip, the strong grip of the church finally getting weaker, and the powers of church groups that are all mm, believing in their own version of the truth. I see that power weakening of those strict, fear-based, patriarchal truth systems that are actually not universal truth. That power I see weakening, mm, and people are a lot more open and are in need and in search of a truth that actually feels like a truth, because mm, religious dogma does not feel like a truth. Everything that your head has a hard time wrapping around is not truth, and there is a lot of dogma mm, in religion, and in religious communities, and a lot of stories and narratives that people believe just because, but they can't really explain it. And the truth is the truth is simple. The truth feels simple. The truth is 1 + 1 = 2. And in many of those religious dogmas, it's not that simple. People have to actively wrap their heads around it to believe it, and that is not truth. Mm. And 2020, I see that in 2026, the power grip, the false, the power grip established through false truths of religious communities and patriarchal communities will lose power, and the awakened masses that are, I'm thinking how to phrase this. People are starting to come back to the simple truth, the simple spiritual truth that feels like 1 + 1 = 2. And that is the balance of the male and the female. That is duality, not fear. There is black and white, not good and evil, and evil has to be mm, mm, has to be fought. There is a reason behind duality. Duality is not meant to be avoided. Duality is part of the human experience. And religion has corrupted this. And patriarchy has corrupted this into a narrative that fits their needs. But the truth is a lot simpler. It is that there is good and evil, black and white, but both is there for the balance. Everything is two. 1 + 1 is 2. The Earth is a dual planet. And a lot of those truth principles will surface in 2026, helping people understand why they're here and how the world works. There are going to be many realizations for people. The the how does this saying work? The penny or the shoe will drop for many people in a very simple way, because old dogma that needs you to wrap your head around it in order to understand it is simply going to lose its power.
Well, that sounds like progress to me.
Oh, yes, yes. There is a lot of dismantling of false paradigms happening. 2026 is a year of truth, a year of mm, hard truth, like the truth that hits you in the face so you can't ignore it anymore.
That sounds like we need that too. Hmm. So, how do the dragons play into all of this? What is the significance of um, the Dragon Queen coming to speak with us today?
I am a sovereign being. I am in my power. I know my power. I trust my power. I know what I'm capable of, and I know the truth. I embody, mm, I embody a life that can be lived as a human being in complete and utter sovereignty, free from free from structural systems, matrix, paradigms, all of these false matrix webs that you are in, all of these entanglements. I am completely free of them. I am a sovereign being that sees through everything and that is free. Mm, and that is the energy and frequency that can work with dragons, because they are not part of the matrix. They are completely and utterly free, and they see through the web. They see the truth. And mm, with that being a big theme of 2026, my help is needed. And and I show humans and I show this vessel how it can be done and what it feels like. And I remind this vessel of her sovereignty. That is why I have come through again today, because she's overwhelmed too with all the entanglements that she is still in but wants to get out of. And it is living in the matrix. Mm, it is not an easy task. Having grown up in the matrix, for all of you, it takes courage to exit, and it takes mm, taking responsibility for yourself. When you live in the matrix system, you can get cozy in the webs. You can lie back and just mm, have a bleak, easy, secure life. And before this time, this was an option for many human beings, and there are many humans mm, that are older and that only have a few more years to live who are allowed to live out their cozy and secure life. Mm. But with the new energies that are coming in, it is just not an option anymore to bypass your contracts and to get comfortable. And you need to get your shit together. It is not an option anymore to take it easy. And that is why beings like me and the dragons are coming in to bring this wind of change and to help humans have the courage to step out of their comfortable entanglements and start living in sovereignty and in freedom. And I know that many, if not all, human beings yearn for freedom, especially after having lived in this rigid patriarchy for thousands of years. It is like the river has been confined for so long and so much that it has almost dried out.
Hmm.
Now is the time to steer the ship back, to give the river back its natural flow before it dries out. Humanity has had so much time mm, experiencing the matrix. Now it's time to exit it and to be sovereign and free beings, and that is the energy of the dragons and of the dragon queens that are awakening in humans now. It is this untamable, wild desire to be free and sovereign again. And that is sweeping the earth right now. And that is why I am here to give a voice to this rising desire that is in so many human beings, especially in this time. There is 2026 is going to be a peak year for this desire to be free and sovereign, to be free of the entanglements. People are tired of repeating their karma over and over and over again. 2026 is the year of finally cutting loose, cutting all the ties when you are brave, if you are brave enough. And I am here to help.
So you keep saying sovereign being. Can you explain what you mean by sovereignty in this context?
I only answer to myself. There is no institution, no family, no nothing that I answer to. I am my own being and I do whatever I want. I have responsibility for my life and I have a responsibility for my contracts and my mission, but there is no higher order or group or community that I answer to. I work with the dragons, but don't I don't answer to them. I am my own being. And I come and go whenever I want to. I do not answer to anything or anyone, but to me and source. Mm, and that is what is waking up in human beings, this desire to live their lives freely, mm, to free their free will. Now is the time for humans to free their free will, mm, instead of repeating patterns, feeling like they have to follow a certain path to be accepted in their tribe, in their society. The, the new age that is dawning is not an age of conformity and swimming with the stream, with the tribe. The new era, the new age that is dawning is one of individual awakening and individual creation. This is the time of free will, of complete and utter free will, and humans will break free from the systems that they have created in the next years. But it is not going to be easy, and sovereignty is a quality that many human beings still have to develop. Mm, it is a radical quality. It seems very radical to many human beings now, but it is going to be the future. Right now, you live in communities and cities and families, and mm, everybody brings something to the table. Your system only works through conformity and through everybody doing their job. Mm, but humans have set a goal to be free, and you came to this earth to use your free will and mm, to learn how to create with your free will, and it is your natural state, to be free and use your free will, follow your inner voice. Mm, and that is what I am here mm, to bridge and to embody.
So earlier you mentioned that humans are much more powerful than they think they are. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, first of all, a human being is, when I say human being, I mean a body and the soul that is wearing that body in this lifetime. I know that many who are maybe listening to me speak are already in a open spiritual community where they already know that you are more than just your body and your soul and this one incarnation. You are source. Every single one of you is source. Mm, but like it's like this vessel, when she was a kid, she loved to play with little figurines, Playmobil, Lego figurines, or Barbies. Mm, Imagine your soul is this little kid that I'm sure every one of you was at some point, playing with Playmobil, Lego, Barbies, whatever you played with, and you had this whole story going on, and um, this Playmobil person had this life going on, and this one had this going on, and as a child, you were so immersed in all of these different lives of all of your toys. Mm, it's actually the same for your soul. Your soul likes to play, and mm, she likes to play in this Playmobil world, and she likes to play in this Playmobil world or in this Barbie world and with this storyline. And oh, now I'm the wife and you're the husband. Oh, and now I'm the mother and you're the child. It's like the soul has all these different toys, and it's using those toys to experiment and mm, to experience all these different scenarios and different lives and different stories, and it's using all its creative, its imagination, and mm, the soul is so full of playfulness and joy, mm, and wants to experiment and experience. And how does it do that? It has all these toys, and I do not mean that in a demeaning way, but your body and your life is your soul getting creative, your soul wanting to experience a certain life, and it has chosen this particular body because it wants to mm, see and feel how life feels in this particular body, and it has taken on certain roles. And over there in that corner, in another life, it has another body to experience life through, maybe in another era, 500 years ago or 2,000 years ago. It's like your soul is sitting in this. Mm, I just have this picture of this vessel as a kid with all her toys in her room, and the Playmobil having this life over there, and the Barbies having that life over there, and the Legos all leading that life over there, and mm,
It's interesting
that's
because
basically what the soul does.
the because adults do this too. I was just thinking about this the other day. Between all of the virtual reality games where you create avatars and interact with others, or even playing the Sims game, which is huge and has been for a long time,
Yes.
where you're basically doing the exact same thing, and people don't realize that that's exactly what life is. And yes, you might feel like you have more control over your Sims character, but you can learn to have that same control over your own life. And I think people don't realize that that's even possible.
Yes. And at the end of the day, you're not the doll in your hand. You are the child that is playing with the doll. You are source. Y- you that's what I mean with you are more powerful, or you are not as helpless as you think you are. You are not just the doll. You are the whole mm, creative force that is playing,
Hmm.
even though it feels sometimes like you are so helpless. Mm. And that's why it is important to establish a practice, a meditation practice, or a walk in nature practice where you do not listen to music or look into your phone, but just be still within your body with yourself, and you can get in contact with the creative force that is playing your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why a lot of like the Buddhists and some of the other spiritual gurus have always emphasized like you are not your thoughts, you are the one observing the thoughts. Like you are not the one, you are not the doll, you are the one playing with the doll. You are not your body, your avatar, you are the soul, the essence, the spirit behind it. And ultimately you do have, you know, control and you are the creative force, as you said. And I think because of the way we've been programmed, people don't realize how simple it sounds complicated, but it's actually very simple.
Yes, but when you feel cut off from source, from your creative force, you feel helpless and you feel like you're getting played or somebody life plays with you and you have no control over it. But when you get to know and actually get in contact with the creative force that is playing your life, mm, then you as the doll have a lot more perspective, and a lot more, I don't want to say a say in it because it is, at the end of the day, your soul that creates everything.
Hmm.
That you can open your channel a lot more to be in contact with your higher creative force. Mm, And the best way to do that is through regular meditation practice or simply mm, shutting down or plugging off from your phone, music, mm, hustling, feeling like you have to do something all the time, meet people all the time, look into your phone all the time. Simply plug off or plug out of the 3D matrix world and just be with yourself and listen into your body, listen to all those internal nudges, and you will be surprised at how much information and how much soothing you will get through that connection.
Hmm. And that kind of brings us back full circle to the whole point of sovereignty, because I hear people say like, oh, I feel like a puppet on a string. I feel like I don't have any control. Well, you gave your power away. Like you might feel like a puppet on a string or a doll or a sim or whatever, but you feel like you don't have control over it because you let someone else take control. And that's part of finding your sovereignty again, realizing that you don't have to do that, that you can take the reins back and you can be in control of your life. You can take responsibility for your actions, for your reactions, for your emotions, and for the things that are attracted into your life and the experiences that you have. And that's all part of reconnecting with that source spark within you, that creative spark, and building that relationship and being more aware of the decisions that you're making and what you are allowing into your life, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.